Welcome back to the Take a Step podcast, where we help young men reject complacency and take purposeful action every day. Today, joined again by my man John Starzewski, entrepreneur, husband, father, Jesus follower.
Keep it going.
Got all the good stuff, and we are blessed to be in his presence again. But dude, thanks for coming back on the show.
Yeah, man, it's been a good morning.
Yeah, hit a good lift this morning. What started out as a plan for 6 o'clock turned into 6:05, turned into 6:10, which is, neither here nor there.
Letting the distractions creep in. But yeah, I love these mornings where it's like, I honestly say it's a slower start to the day.
Yeah.
It might sound crazy for some people to hear that, like a 6 a.m. workout sounds like, what? That's a slow start. But it is in my world. And being able to like wake up a little slower, spend time in the Word and like ground myself first, then hit the weights. Then like I went home, I checked in on the family, and then here we are at 8 a.m. Like, dude, how could I lose today with this start?
Yeah, dude, like I was having a conversation with a friend the other day, and it's just like the little things like that in the morning. It's like how, dude, I take that for granted so much. Where it's like I'm constantly focused on like what I'm gonna do today, like what challenges does the day have, how am I building, take a step, how am I doing all these things, just adding more to my plate. But like, how often do we take a step back and be like, I mean, how amazing is just like the morning of being able to like wake up next to my wife in bed, kiss my daughter goodbye, have like the body that allows me to be physically active in the morning, being able to spend time in a country where I have the freedom to worship God. It's like, dude, there's so much we take for granted. So it's, just like being able to enjoy the mundane morning.
You'll appreciate this. Last night, so I've got 3 daughters, 7, 6, and 2. So my wife goes to like lay down our 2-year-old, and I'm like, all right, I brought my 6 and 7-year-old into my bed. I'm like, pick out a book that you want to read. I'm going to read my book. And I put on some like nice theta brainwave music in the background.
Curating the environment.
We're just laying down reading our books, trying to get them sleepy so I could actually get to bed on time. And I'm reading through Extreme Ownership.
Oh, dude.
And they're reading, Maddie picked out some Dr. Seuss book, like What People Do in a People House or something like that. It's one of my all-time favorites. Ellie's reading something else. But halfway through our reading session, they're like, Daddy, will you read out loud to us? So I start reading them Extreme Ownership.
Jocko Willink.
Jocko's
Do hard things.
He's talking about Bud's Hell Week and the training and how he invests in the leaders and how like there's no bad teams, only bad leaders. And he's painting these like crazy scenarios. And dude, their jaws are dropping. It's 9:30 at night and I'm trying to wind them down. And we end up looking up Navy SEAL videos on YouTube.
Dude, I was going to say, especially if you're listening to the audiobook in Jocko's voice, Extreme Ownership.
Yeah, no,
dude,
it was Dad's voice reading it, but now they're like, Daddy, tell us more about the SEALs. And I'm telling them how they're the elite of the elite. And we're diving into it. Now we're watching Navy SEAL videos of like Bud's Hell Week training on YouTube. And needless to say, they weren't tired. They wanted to like drop down and do push-ups.
Dude, but honestly, like
10 p.m.
God bless their future boyfriends.
Oh, I know.
Like their standards are going to be ridiculous.
One line that stuck out to me now for years: your daughters will marry you, and your sons will become you. So like right now, how we are living is shaping what our kids are going to look for, either in themselves or in a spouse.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah.
Well, I had a friend reach out to me last year. He had a daughter, and we had ours about the same. We had ours about the same time, and I played college baseball with him, and he was somebody that never really cared about his weight too much. And after college, you could tell it was starting to add on a little bit. And he reached out to me and was like, "Dude, my wife's pregnant. You know she is. I've never really put too much care or thought into like how I present myself, but now like I'm gonna have someone else that's depending on me, that's gonna look to me, and if there's one area in my life where I obviously like could care less and like don't care to have like I can't lead myself in that way, and I don't respect myself in that way, how can I ask my daughter to respect me in that way?" And it's just like it's a new perspective, especially once you add your own kids into the mix.
When you look at yourself in the mirror and then you envision the man that's going to marry your daughter.
Yeah.
Like, if that man looked like you, would you be happy?
Yeah, dude, that's powerful.
If that man acted like you, if what he did in the dark is what you're doing in the dark, like, are you proud of that guy?
Yeah.
Or is that guy turning to his phone and looking at Pornhub when when the kids leave the house and the wife's going and he's like, oh, nice, I got some time to myself.
Yeah.
Or is he opening up a book and like learning about growing himself as a leader?
Well, and where I was at earlier in my life was that exact conversation. I'm like, okay, when my life, when there's new pieces added into my life, like when I get married, when I have kids, it'll be different then. Like, I'll change then. And people think like once you get married, this switch flips. Once you have kids, this switch flips. That's not at all true. And so many guys find themselves in a marriage where they're battling with porn addiction and battling with trying to get over this because they kept on saying, well, when this happens, I'll take care of it. Not realizing that it is a battle that takes a long time to fight. And if you think you're going to put it off till later, you'll tell yourself that the rest of your life.
And the more stress that inevitably starts to come and pack on in life, the more you double down on these habits.
For sure.
So it's like you think that you'll stop it at these different stages. It actually throws more gasoline onto that fire.
Because it's the vice. It's the vice that you always run to. So, dude,
and a lot of times those vices will then switch. So it's like, okay, maybe you've figured out the porn addiction. You're like, okay, I can't do this anymore. Then it turns to sugar.
Yeah.
Now you're the dad that goes and you're in the Dunkin' Donuts line every single morning grabbing donuts and some Frappuccino iced coffee with 75 grams of sugar. And that's how you start your day.
Coming from the guy who asked me if I wanted Dunkin' about 30 minutes ago,
I was going to get you a black coffee, only that, dude. If you would have asked for a donut, I would have slapped you.
Yeah. What's your big takeaways from extreme ownership so far?
Oh, man. It's one of those things, like, the more you read it, the more you see it.
Yeah.
Like, right now, it's front of mind, so in every little thing, like, my kids yesterday, for example, I asked them to go clean up the basement. It's their schoolroom / playroom. And my oldest, who's an angel, she's like, Daddy, well, Maddie did everything. She put out this, and this. And I stopped. I'm like, Ellie, as a leader, you need to take ownership. That's your room that I've entrusted you with. So I don't care if your younger sister took out all the toys. Ultimately, it comes down onto you. And now it also comes down onto my 6-year-old as well, and even my 2-year-old. Like, they all need to take ownership of it. But how quickly we're trying to pass the blame to somebody else. Mm-hmm. And then the chapter I'm on right now, there's no bad teams, only bad leaders. Like, when I look at my team in the gym and I see the next in line pointing the blame onto somebody underneath them, I'm like, oh, how often have I done that to him? Yeah. Like, I didn't want to take the blame for it, so ultimately it's his fault, not mine. I'm crushing it. Am I? Am I leading my team on this mission? Am I clearly communicating with them? Here's the direction we're going. And, like, I love the idea of fixing your eyes on a short-term mission and, like, here, we're making this sprint to hit this revenue in this month. And, like, it's clear cut. They know exactly where we're going. When we get there, we celebrate. We now, like, built that muscle of, like, we can do this, and then quickly paint the next mission. Yeah. And then starting to forecast, okay, if we continue this, where are we going to be in a year? Where are we going to be in 3 years, 5 years? How many lives can we change if all we do is focus in on the first project?
Yeah. And it's easy to own, like, fully own the smaller projects. Like, it's easy to say, hey, this is, you have like a better grasp on what's going to result in the outcome you want when it's, a 90-day target that you're shooting for, rather than, hey, this is where we're trying to get in 3 years.
Yeah.
So, and I think with that, you can assign individual responsibilities that each person can own for themselves and not pass on to anyone else. So, yeah, dude, I love the concept of, like, it's a bunch of small wins accumulated over a long period of time that gets you to where you want to go, on the concept of take a step. Like, it's one step at a time.
And success leaves clues.
Yeah.
Like, if we want to get to here next year It's all these little monthly milestones that we need to hit, and it's very clear. And then looking back on the flip side, like, okay, if we haven't been hitting the numbers, and I like actually take the time to debrief, to look back on why was last month not great. Okay, I start to check myself. How was I communicating? How was I showing up? And it trickles down.
Yeah.
I've also recognized just in the first couple chapters, man, my struggle with control. Like, as I've tried to delegate and like assign responsibilities when people are taking action on them, and it's a little different than I would do, I find myself like taking a second to breathe before I respond, because how they're doing it is great.
Yeah.
It's not what I would have necessarily done, but it's working and it's great. The results are showing. But like, because it's not the way I would do it, I want to change it. And I'm now just pulling myself aside and empowering them, and they're making decisions that aren't necessarily the decision I would make, but it's working.
Yeah.
So being okay with that and like celebrating their success.
Isn't it funny how, like, at the beginning, especially like when something's yours, like the gym, it's your baby. It's like when you see when things are happening good, you it's because of something that you've done. But when things are not happening the way you want, it's because somebody messed something up. Yeah. Somebody else messed something up. You know, so like, yeah, it's like you want to be and on the concept of control when things aren't going right. Instinctly, since it's your baby, you want to step in and be like, all right, this isn't going the way I want it, I'm taking back over. Then how is anybody ever going to be able to step in and fully own a responsibility if they can't reap the responsibility of how to handle problems that are the result of something they did or didn't do? So yeah, no, I love that conversation, and Extreme Ownership is one of those books as a whole that, like, I did a top 3 books that changed my life up until this point. List is rapidly growing, 4 times the speed at which I can read them. But Extreme Ownership was 2, Ruthless Elimination to Hurry was 1, and then Atomic Habits was 3. And I'll throw in an honorable mention of Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. Goggins is one of those guys that you say his name and everyone's like, okay, Goggins. But it's for someone at a specific point in their life. I read it when I was in college, my senior year of college, where it's like everybody, I was a college athlete, and everybody's, you know, at least in my friend group, was just, everyone was entitled. Everyone was extremely comfortable in where they were at. Like, especially for me and the circle I ran in, like, a lot of guys had some talent and some skill, and we just kind of like clung to that. But a lot of it was genetics. A lot of it was natural talent. Nothing we really had to like go into the pit to like mold and refine in ourselves in order to develop. And dude, he does a great job at finding people that are at a point in their life where they don't have the mindset yet that's going to be able to carry you through hard times, because hard times are inevitable.
Yeah.
Like, discomfort, whether you choose it now or are forced into it later, it's going to find you. So like when that hits, like, how do you handle that? And Goggins, his story is one where, like, through his upbringing, through, you know, being overweight, living a life of just like, he was a exterminator that went and sprayed for roaches, and he turned that being 290 pounds and then watched a SEAL documentary, and all of a sudden he's like one of the most badass Navy SEALs in the history of our country, and has completely transformed so many people's lives. But yeah, I'll throw that as an honorable mention in there.
Yeah, it's crazy how one person can read that and hear that message.
Yeah.
And it clicks, and they make the change.
Yeah.
And then the other 99 people of the 100 can hear that message, and they stay the same. Mm-hmm. Or they make one small move, but then they revert back, because that one small move requires them to step out of comfort. Mm-hmm. They don't like the discomfort, and they're like, it's not for me. Like, the fact that he was able to be like, okay, I don't like this comfort that I've created in my life. It sucks, but like, it's still comfortable. Like, I'm comfortably uncomfortable. I'm going to make a change, and he stuck to it. How come 99% of them don't? Yeah,
I have my opinions on that.
Let's hear it.
I think it's soundbitey, and people. It's funny. People love talking about Goggins, and they'll joke about it, and there's all like the one-liners, who's going to carry the boats, and all these things. those are like, just because people like love kind of making a comedy out of it a little bit doesn't make it less true. But I think it's the difference in those that love talking about it and joking about it, and there's a lot of like motivation and inspiration that comes from it. But the 1% of the people that actually choose to apply it and like take action on that in their life rather than just letting it remain motivation and inspiration.
When I was reading through the chapter last night to my daughters, it's all about their Hell Week training and how they have to carry this 250-pound inflatable boat everywhere they go. And they end up running this thing over this course of 5 days for 200-plus miles.
Yeah.
They get, I think, on average, maybe 4 hours of sleep the entire week. And I'm just sitting there, and the entire time I'm like, who's going to carry the boat? Come on, who's going to do it? I think a lot of people, man, we've become a society and a culture of cheerleaders rather than want to be in the game. So like we want to wear the Braves hat and be like, yeah, let's go Braves. We don't want to step onto the field. And I think, like, especially as a Christ follower myself, am I wearing the hat that says, yeah, go Jesus, or am I in the game? And dude, the two things that he calls us, like, imagine if every person that went to church on Sundays started to live out what they preach, which is the Great Commission and the Great Commandment. So the Great Commandment, like, love God with all your heart and then love your neighbors yourself. Imagine if we actually lived that.
Yeah.
And the Great Commission is go out there and make disciples of all the nations. Like, let's go out there and talk about Jesus and how he's changed our life. If every person that went to church that's wearing the hat, we're like, go Jesus. But if we actually stepped onto the field and did that, come on, what kind of world could we live in? But so many of us are comfortable just rooting for the team.
Yeah, because it's easy to stay on the sideline. But once dude, we talked about this before, but Kirby Smart.
Yeah, what was his quote from this weekend?
It's, if you run from hard, hard will always find you. But he's like, it's easy to stay on the sideline and cheer, but if you step in the game, you got to get hit.
Yeah.
Like, you got, like, and that's one of the things he was talking about in his interview. And for those of you that aren't Georgia fans, I apologize. Go Dogs. I'm a diehard dog. But, dude, one of the things he was talking about in his interview is like, a lot of players today are comfortable looking for checks. Like, they're just looking to get paid. He's like, if you come to this program, yeah, you'll get paid, but you're going to get hit. Like, we hit in practice. And he said, guys that leave our program, we schedule their teams. Yeah. Like, we throw their teams on the schedule for the next season or 2 seasons away when they can control it. But he's like, we know they're running from hard. They're running for the easy money because they can get it right now because they have the notoriety. Like, you can run from hard for so long. At some point, hard's going to find you, and we're going to throw you on the schedule and be that hard in your life.
I love it.
Dude, talk about a freaking dog.
Dude, shout out to the SEC. Like, it's just a different conference. I don't care where you stand on that. Like, go Ohio State, they're great. No, dude, SEC is a different breed.
1,000%.
I coach another guy. His name's Armand Williams. This guy played for LSU, and then he went professional for a couple years with the Dolphins. And we were talking about this same exact concept in life, like running from hard. And because he's a football player, I'm like, how often are you on the sidelines watching like a running back and he's approaching the line, and instead of just like taking the hit and maybe taking like a couple yard loss, he starts dancing around, he starts running backwards, he ends up losing 10 yards because he's avoiding the hit and he's trying to do this miracle play instead of just like accepting where he's at, taking the loss, but like also embracing the hit.
Yeah.
It's like, how often are we dancing around what we need to embrace rather than just like hitting it head on and maybe taking an L, but learning from it and then regrouping in the huddle and then making the next play. Sometimes like a small little pivot turns into this huge problem because we're avoiding it instead of just like, okay, let me have the hard conversation. Let me make the hard decision. It's not always going to pan out in my favor, but I'll learn from it, and I'm not going to take a 10-yard loss. I'll take a 2.
Yeah.
But you know that
dude,
feeling of watching your team, and you're like, dude, just go down. Why are you dancing? As a Gator fan, dude, I can say I've seen it far too often. It's like, just take the loss and move on.
Yeah. Dude, that was like how that applies to life for me, where I'm thinking right now is when my first job out of college, I was just like, what does everyone do? They get a corporate job, they work their way up. So I got an entry-level job in a sales role and learned a lot in the role, but it was just like I was so burnt out and like really served no purpose for me, and I did not enjoy the work. But at that point, my dancing was not saying, all right, what do I actually want to do? But it's the company's fault. Let me find a better company, a better corporate job that's going to give me better benefits, better like long-term security. So I got a job with a bigger company. It was blessed that they gave me the opportunity, but it was another 2.5 years of my life where I was dancing. I was just like, I was essentially living a lie or not living a lie, but just like living based off the world's definition of success, and be like, oh, everyone else would tell me I'm making the right decision. I'm setting my family up. It's secure. But at the end of the day, like, serving no purpose for me, showing up at 5 o'clock and was a lousy husband. Would have been like if I had my daughter at that time, I would have been in a dark place, because I was 2 years of my life just dancing, just like running from like what I knew I needed to do. And I felt God calling me for so long, just to like, dude, set aside your fear, set aside the idea of making the comfortable choice of security for your family. Security for my family is not what life I'm going to give them at 65, but what kind of man I'm showing up as right now. And I was running from that. And it took me, 5 years from the time I graduated until I was done with that second job, to realize, and like what I'm channeling that through is take a step on helping people to see that, hey, there's a greater purpose for your life, and you're not going to realize it until you take the step, take action, and let the actions you take clarify your path.
Love that.
Yeah.
And thinking through that, like, a lot of people will look on from the sidelines now that you're in the game, and they'll be like, well, what happens if you fail? What happens if this isn't successful? Like, what are you going to do then?
Yeah.
You'll fall back to what they're doing. Like, so your failure is stepping into like, okay, I'll get the security of a corporate job again. I've got the resume. I know I could do that.
Yeah.
But so my failure is your life.
Mm.
Like,
dude, 100%.
We're in the game. Let's go, baby.
Because like, and the reverse, like the flip side of the coin is, let's just say you don't do anything. You're 65 years old. You built this life where you just like, sure, you had some good vacations. You have like, maybe you have a lake house now, but how for the rest of your life, you're going to have to battle yourself on like, what if? Like, what would have happened if I just decided to do that thing?
Speaking of like living for the vacations, thinking back to the refinery, so we did this 4x48 challenge a couple weekends ago, and man, it was powerful.
Yeah.
Incredible experience. But then Monday hit. So we had 48 hours camping out with the guys, 4 miles every 4 hours, sleep deprived, taking on challenge, like all the talks in between. And it just felt like so alive that weekend. And then Monday hit, and I found myself like not wanting to do Monday. And I'm like, man, I want more weekend. I want more time in life like I had this past weekend.
Yeah.
And God just slapped me. He goes, dude, don't live for the vacations.
For the moments. Yeah.
Don't live for these magical moments. Like, they're great, but like the beauty happens 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Like, am I living for these like one-off experiences where I can like feel so in tune with the spirit? Or can I take what I learn from that weekend and then apply it and find that peace every single day?
Yeah.
It's like, how often are we neglecting our families, neglecting our health, but we have this vacation on the calendar. We're like, that's going to be the time I'm going to connect with my wife.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be a Valentine's Day husband where the only time I woo my wife is on Valentine's Day. I don't want to be the dad that like only gives gifts and is present and can unplug on Christmas morning. Now I'm with the family and I'm like in the matching pajamas and it looks great for Instagram, but how I've been showing up the other 364 days of the year. Like, I can create these memories every single day if I ground myself, if I set out there with intention, and I live for purpose. It's a constant reminder of like, this is what I'm called to do. It's an offering every single time, every single day, every single minute is like an offering. How am I living? How am I growing the kingdom? Like, am I living for purpose in everything I do?
Absolutely. It's better to be consistently good than occasionally great.
Yeah.
Like, what we're doing through placing everything in a moment or in a vacation or in, I'm going to wait until this one day and then I'm going to go all out, is we're placing our like it's a destination based view of success rather than the process, the journey, like the actions we're taking on a daily basis. Because if we say, oh, at this moment, that's when we're gonna like be fulfilled, or that's when we're gonna go all out and do the thing, it's withholding fulfillment until a certain point in time, when and if that time even comes. Like, let's just say, if we get to X amount in our bank account, we'll take that vacation next year. If you don't get there, does that make the build and the work you did to get to that number in the bank account, does that make it not worth it if you're a couple $1,000s short? No, because you learned something throughout that process. You took the action, and if our fulfillment was placed in those steps, then every day is a success.
And the vacation, if we do fall short, it doesn't have to be this grand European getaway for 2 weeks. Okay, we fell short, so guess what? We're going to go on a week camping trip.
Yeah.
It's going to cost me $400 and some time. But Dad's going to be so intentional. He's going to make it extra special. So it's like being okay with where you're at, but not complacent with it, knowing where you want to go. And it's kind of counterintuitive, because in sales, like, I sell you on the destination. You don't care how we get there. I'm not going to sell you this beautiful plane trip, like, to get to Destination Island. I'm not going to tell you, on the way to get to Hawaii, where I'm taking you, I'm also going to give you this first class ticket, and you're going to have a drink upon entrance. I'm going to take your bags.
Free check bag.
You don't care, dude. You just want to get to Hawaii. You want to put your butt in the sand, toes in the water, and, like, you want a lei around your neck. Mm-hmm. So we're constantly, like, in sales, I'm selling you on the destination. However, in life, like, we need to, who cares about the destination?
Yeah.
Like, we got to love the journey of getting there.
Yeah.
So it is counterintuitive.
Yeah. No, for sure. It's like very few people know how to embrace the process. Like, this phrase is catchy. It's one of those, like, soundbitey things. But, like, what does that actually look like lived out? Like, what does it look like when we get set back in a day, when we get a no, when we something we tried doesn't work, when we lose money on the risk we took? Like, embracing the process isn't all of a sudden saying, damn it, like, it's not working. This is like, and my whole mindset is now affected. But it's understanding that this is part of the process. Like, this is a necessity in order for me to get to where I want to go. And it's learning how to embrace, hey, the failure, you learn, you overcome, you get a little bit further, and then you're going to fail again. It's all of that. It's like you zoom out and you look at what you're actually doing and what you're doing it for. And the success, the man you become, is built in the daily steps. It's not built in those small moments that you get to experience and make the memories with. So yeah, dude, I love that. And when we had the speaking of the refinery, like, we had that a little fireside chat at the end, where we were just kind of debriefing with all the guys. And that was one of the questions we asked was, on these weekends, we have these amazing takeaways and these memories and these moments, but how does tomorrow change? Like, and it's funny how you talk about Monday was one of those drags, because that we know it leaving, that, hey, we're on this high and we're going to go back to the mundane day-to-day life. And, like, where else in life are we searching for these moments and then step back into the day-to-day, and life just progresses as normal with no change?
So the words spoken to me over the weekend, I needed to change distraction. So using distraction as, like, a numbing tool, like taking the easy pill, essentially. Like, when I get home in the evening, like, it's so easy to say I'm connecting with my kids, because my 7-year-old loves to, like, play games. Mm-hmm. So, like, I'll just lay on the couch with her and, like, we'll play a game on my phone. Truth be told, like, that's a distraction. It's a way that I can, like, kick my feet up and say I'm connecting with her and bonding, but really I'm just like, I can unplug, but I'm still, she's cuddling up with me, so it's sweet.
Yeah.
It's a distraction. And in order to get rid of the distraction, the 3 words that I heard clearly were discernment, discipline, and wisdom. Like, discernment to know what is my best yes. Discipline to follow through and, like, create some structure around my life that allows me to actually follow through with that. And then wisdom, really, like, not to try to control every outcome and control every scenario. Like, taking a 5-second pause just to have, like, this quick little breath prayer. Be like, all right, God, what's my move here? And, like, kind of relinquish control. Not take action, but like not jump on things right away.
Yeah.
And I've been going through the proverb of the day, and now I've been doing it like more intently. I've been praying through it. And the proverb of the day, 19, it said, listen to advice and accept discipline, and at the end you'll be counted among the wise. Okay, there's two of my trigger words right there, discipline and wisdom. And then the second part of that really stuck out to me. The fear of the Lord leads to life. Then one rests content, untouched by trouble. Like so often I recognize in myself, I've been focusing on God's grace and love, and not a lot of me fears him. And like, it's good to be a little fearful.
Yeah.
And because fearful, like, not in like this, like he's like this angry God that's going to cast down punishment if I don't follow through. Like, I know how I love my kids, and if he loves me in a greater way than I love them, like, I'm not looking to punish them, but I also, when I see them make mistakes, like, I'll hold them to it. Mm-hmm. And they should have a little bit of fear that if I mess up big time, like, Dad's going to come down on me.
Yeah.
And that fear keeps them in line. It keeps them to keep their room a little cleaner. It keeps them to like follow through. If I ask them to do something, they'll do it. And not out of fear of punishment, but more like reverence. Like, I love my dad. I want to make him happy, and he knows what's best for me.
Yeah.
Do I look at God the same way? And I need to.
Yeah.
So
I think too, like when talking about fear of the Lord, for a lot of young guys, like a big challenge is the ego, right? Yeah. And I think once you start to experience a little bit of that worldly success, the fear of the Lord recognizes that this can be taken away tomorrow. So there's no, like, at the end of the day, I have no control. But the reason my mind goes to that is something that's been very like heavy on my heart, which I've been talking. It's funny, whenever I start like talking about something and I put a lot out there, I always get tested with it. It's funny how God works in that way. And for me, it's in leaving the weekend, a big concept that I was talking about is reliance on the Spirit and reliance on God's plan, God's timing, not my plan and my timing. And dude, since I've been talking about that, it's like I feel God testing me tremendously in so many different aspects. We bought a house, renovation, like car things, testing my patience when it comes to my marriage and being a father. Like, there's so...
Renovations always go according to plan and always go according to budget, right?
Yeah, of course. But it's like all these little things that have added up to where like I feel God being like, I see you, or like I hear you, and I see what you're trying to promote. Like you always talk about, like, practice what you preach.
Yeah. And
he's kind of orchestrating things to happen in a way to where I'm in a position to where I have to rely on him. And it's scary, but going back to like fear of the Lord, when things are good, my ego's like, oh, I can like pat myself on the back a little bit. I want a little bit of the words of affirmation from my peers and my wife. But when things are bad, I try to take control and grasp everything and be like, all right, we got to figure this out.
Yeah.
But and like that's where the anxiety comes from, and that's where the stress comes from. But what does it look like to rely on God in the good and bad?
That was one of our mantras from this week, from the refinery weekend. Struggle well. Struggle with grace.
Yeah.
Like, we're all called to struggle. Like, it's inevitably in life. But can you do it with a smile? Mm-hmm. Can you do it with an attitude of like, yeah, a posture of just like love and yes, let's go, Lord. I got this.
Yeah.
Because I don't have this, but I know you're going to fill in the gaps and you're going to pick me up when I am just burnt out, exhausted, tired, struggling, finances get tight. Okay. Like I've got 35 years to look back on and see how he's carried me through so many parts of life. Like, why can't I look back on that and be like, yeah, you know what? I can get through this.
Yeah.
I've always gotten through it before. The fact that we're here today, he's carried us through things. Like, you were called to play professional baseball. That was a big slap in the face when COVID hit, and like all of a sudden these career aspirations are shot.
Yeah.
That signing bonus would have felt really good.
Yes, it would have.
And you can
at
sit
22 years old,
dude.
be able to pad the ego a little bit, going from never having more than like a couple $100s in my bank account to getting a few G's in there. That would have been
Yeah.
But who was I at the time? Was I prepared to handle that? Like that was God. That was the fear of the Lord, and just like God's providential plan coming to play. Because like if I would have gotten that at that time, like I would have that would have completely transformed who I was for the worse.
Yeah.
And I think that was God protecting me. That was also God. Like I don't think I was ready. Like I was getting engaged that summer. I don't think I was ready to handle the professional life, the like professional baseball player's lifestyle. I didn't have the discipline. I wasn't who I needed to be, and I think God, and like COVID happened for everyone handled it, and it affected everyone in 1,000 different ways. But for me personally, I believe that was God saying, "Hey, this is what you think you want. This is what you've seen as your plan for so long. I'm going to protect you."
Yeah.
And not like me seeing it in the time. I was a bit like playing the victim. I was like, oh, like poor, like why me? Why this year? Why? Guess what book I read that year? Extreme Ownership.
Okay, there we go.
Read Extreme Ownership in 2020.
Yeah.
And it's like I have no control over this. I can play the victim and point the finger and question God and his timing for everything. Or I can say, this is the situation we're in right now. This is the experience I have. How can we move forward? Like, what can I actually do about it, rather than how can I complain and
what's the next step
and make all the excuses and I should have done this. I would have been this. But like, yeah, it's at the end of the day, like that's just one factor that plays back into the conversation of like, what does it look like to rely on God? And that's one thing right now that like I'm tested with and I'm trying to live out for sure.
We talk a lot about what's the big problem. Like, is it complacency? Is it fear? Like, what is the root of the problem of people not taking action? That fear of like loss of control, like recognizing that everything we have really isn't ours.
Yeah.
And we're just stewards of the relationships we have, the money that we've been given, the jobs that we've been given. Like, we're just called to steward it.
Yeah.
But it's really not ours, because it can be taken from us at the drop of a hat. And when you remove all of that, where does your identity truly lie?
Yeah.
And that's who you are, and that can never be taken from you. But when you strip all these things away from you, you find out who you really are, and it's a child of God.
Yeah.
And what I get to do is be a husband. What I get to do is be a father. What I get to do is own a gym. What I get to do is coach a bunch of men and like help them achieve success. But who I am can never change. All these other things could be taken away from me, and I pray to God every day that they don't. And like that fear of like, my kids aren't mine, dude, that's like crippling.
Yeah.
No, they're mine, God, don't take them from me. Like, no, they're not yours. They're not yours. I want at least a couple more years of like, they're mine, and then I'll teach them about you, and then you can use them in any way.
Yeah.
No, like, they're his children first.
And I think that allows you to approach the relationship with your wife, your kids,
So much
those
better.
that you love, because you know that like I am blessed.
Yes.
Because God's given me this. I haven't earned it. I haven't, we want to say like, oh wow, my wife into marrying me. Like I always say like, oh, I tricked you to her, because I don't know why she married me. But at the end of the day, it's like having that perspective on God has, through his grace, he's given me a wife in Jaden. Yeah. Through his grace, he's given you Christina. It's not through anything, like we don't deserve that. And having that heart posture every day you go home. Like I was driving home from the high school small group I lead on Sunday night, and I was listening to a podcast and just talking about like how often do we step back and just like not look at, like if you look at your wife or like, the like the pet peeves you have with her, like it's so easy to like look back and like reminisce on what's going wrong, what could she do better. Same with your kids, like why are they acting this way? How often do we step back and just look at them for their soul?
I'm telling you, man, and that's where how you start your day. Like going back to what we originally said, like this morning started so good.
Yeah.
Quiet time in the Word, hit the weights, saw my family and kids, like hugged them goodbye. When you can start the day like that, you start to come from like a position of gratitude.
Yeah.
And then you look for the good rather than looking for the bad. Because if I look for the bad, I can find it anywhere.
Yeah.
on the flip side, if you look for the good, you'll find that as well. And now all of a sudden it just changes your posture, changes your attitude. And I got to say right now, shout out to my wife. It's one of those weekends, like, so this past weekend, she set out to do a 10K.
Yeah.
Like, that was her Muskogee challenge for the year. She trained for it. She's, homeschooling our kids. We got 3 girls, so, like, she's taking on that. One of them's 2 years old, so trying to homeschool second and first grade while playing around with a toddler, like, how she manages that is absolutely incredible. And she was able to, like, get the girls out there and train for a 10K. So they ran it. On top of her running it, my 7 and my 6-year-old ran it with her because they wanted to be like mom. So, dude, they ran it in like an hour and 20 minutes. Crushed it.
That's wild.
It's insane. So super proud just to be like on the sideline cheering her on, like incredible. This week she launched a course that she's been building in like amongst nap times and like late at night. Mm-hmm. She's been building this course that like God put on her heart. Absolutely beautiful. And then this weekend, or coming into Monday, I had like a slight fever. And I don't know what it is, and maybe you can relate, dude. I feel like such a wuss. If I get a 99.5 fever, dude,
down,
bro, send me to the ER.
Yeah.
Dude, like, she can like power through 102 like no problem. Me, I'm like on the couch with a blanket, like, sweetie, I'm gonna go through our will. Here's my life insurance policy. Like, this might be it. And she's taking my temperature and it's reading like 99.1. She's like, I think you're good. I'm like, I promise you, I'm not. But she was able to like care for me, take care of the house. Like, she's been giving me like, made like a homemade bone broth to like help like rejuvenate me. So just like moments to look back and I'm like, dude, she's absolutely crushing. I need to step it up. Mm-hmm. There's this weird thing though, as I reflect, I feel like when I'm at my worst, she's at her best. And then when she's at her worst, I'm at my best. And when I saw how she's been acting just the last couple of days, I'm like, dude, what would life look like if as a team we were both operating at 100%?
Yeah.
It would be incredible. Now I know like that's kind of the beauty of marriage. If I can only give 40, she'll give 100, and like we're still above.
Mm-hmm. Well, I also think I'm a believer that's God's design. Because like the first thing God said in the Bible that wasn't good was that man was alone, so he made a helper fit for Adam through Eve. He wasn't going to be able to sustain himself because he had his own problems. Therefore, he made a helper.
Yeah, if Adam got a fever,
yeah,
I don't think the world exists at this point.
Nope. But yeah, dude, it's a beautiful thing. I want to end off our conversation just by talking about, obviously, like for me, it's reliance on God. Like as far as where I feel like God's testing me, where do you feel like He's testing you right now, or what do you feel like He's calling you into that is challenging for you right now?
He wants me to be fearful of Him. I want to revere Him and recognizing it's still control as well. Like I think that was your word. Like mine is control. I can say it. I can say that I trust Him, but then, I mean, I'm drinking 1,000 milligrams of caffeine a day to try to keep up and to do more than what He's calling me to do.
Yeah.
Instead of giving Him my best, understanding my natural rhythms, and like if I'm tired, then I'm tired.
Yeah.
Great. Like God, you'll fill in the gaps, and trusting that my best is enough rather than trying to turn myself into a superhuman and do more than what I'm capable of because I'm the man and I've got it. So He keeps telling me, He's like, hey, you need to slow down in order to go further.
Yeah, because for us, like we've built out this habitual nature where it's now comfortable for us to put ourselves in the driver's seat. And if we have control over everything, we feel like we're in a good spot. We feel like we're supposed to be because we're growth-minded, go-getter guys who like want to accomplish things and want to do more, want to add more to our plate. What's uncomfortable is relinquishing a little bit of that control because it doesn't feel like we're steering the car. Because we're not steering the car at the end of the day. We think we are. We've lied to ourselves and told ourselves through trying to add more to our plate that we're steering the car in the direction that we're taking our life. When God's So the guy, he's kind of like when you did driver's ed, and there's the instructor next to you that has that brake that's going to override your brake if you hit the gas. It's like you can hit the gas all you want, but God's over there like pumping the brakes. It's like you're not like you're going where I'm telling you you're going.
I think it's the coach's curse, honestly. Like as a coach in people's fitness journey, and then also just trying to help them like navigate life and problems, because I can recognize it and I can see the better potential that they don't see in themselves. Like, dude, I'm on fire for this mission, and it lights me up every day. But because of that, I'll say yes to too much because I want to help people. So like, I'll say yes to a 5 a.m. morning wake up to help somebody like map out their week and their month and strategize because their marriage is failing, they're out of shape, and like they need help, and they're asking for help. And I've got the tools and the skill set, so I'm like, yes, let me do it. I'll do it to my own detriment. Like I'll literally do it to the point where now I'm exhausted, I'm neglecting my family, I'm not living what I'm preaching because I'm on fire on this mission to help others. It's like, dude, the first person you got to help is yourself. And so like, once again, coming out of this refinery weekend, discernment, discipline, and wisdom. And like, as I fully execute on that, I'll be more effective as a coach. I'll guard my time a little bit better, and I'll probably be able to impact more lives and help people to a greater extent because I'm living it. And if they see me living it, they'll start to like follow through on some of the things that they see me living out. Yeah,
it's the whole the framework that I think you told me a couple months ago, which it's been transformational as far as my perspective is learn, live, lead.
Oh yeah,
the 3 L's. Like you got to learn it for yourself. You can't help someone else until you live it out. And through living it out, you'll become the person who's capable of leading. And that cycle just repeats itself. Like that's true with business. That's true with your faith. That's true with your fitness. That's true with your marriage. It's like you are not in a leadership position until you have first learned the material and lived out what it means. Like the philosophical approach, the head knowledge is great, but you got to apply it then. And after you apply it, what good is it if you just keep it for yourself and like and never share that with anyone else? So like you got to learn it, you got to live it, and then you lead it.
And then reflecting, like a lot of people fall into the learn trap. They just want to be lifelong learners, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But like, okay, you don't need more knowledge. Like as you were saying, your book list keeps growing.
Yeah.
It's like that's a great thing. But really, if you just married yourself to those 3 books, Extreme Ownership, Atomic Habits, and Ruthless Elimination Hurry, if every year you just revisited those books and just digested them, consumed them, and lived them, you're set.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to read it from a different perspective, from a different author. It's like, no, we just need to learn that and then live it. But a lot of people are just lifelong learners, and they're stuck in this learn phase, and they never live it.
Yeah.
I've been living it, and then I'm stuck now in the lead phase to where as I'm leading it, the middle one starts to go. And I'm like, okay, hold on. I'm leading it so much, but am I fully living it? And like I'm reflecting on myself right now. And shaking some things up.
I kind of feel challenged with that. You're the third conversation I've had, which that's been focused on the concept of like, you can read all the books you want and pad your ego with saying that you read this and that. Like, for example, have you read 7 Habits of Highly Effective People?
Yes.
Can you tell me the 7 habits?
No.
My point.
I'll ChatGPT it real quick.
No, but that's the thing, is that a guy did that at a conference, and everyone's in the room like, yeah, I've read that book. Like, of course I have. Like, okay, well, what are they? What point is it to say that you've read the book if you can't even tell me the not even like what's in each chapter, just tell me the 7 habits.
Yeah.
Like nobody can do it because they're so focused on saying that they've read the book, but they don't do anything with the information. There's like 1 or 2 little pointers. So for me, where I feel challenged, I'm like, I have this long list, and there's books I want to read next year. I kind of feel challenged to pick one book next year and just go all in for 12 months and like just fully embrace it.
Yeah.
You know?
So I'm doing that, but I'm doing it with 3.
Okay.
And I'm just marrying myself to those 3, and I'll go through them. If I read through them quick, I'll just reread them, and I'll keep revisiting until I fully have like consumed it. Because ultimately it comes down to the ego. Like, why are you trying to read more books? It's so you can go to that event or that dinner party and be like, oh, have you read Highly Effective People, The 7 Habits of, and you can talk about it real quick.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you can't even like name out the 7 habits without looking at your phone first and be like, what are they? Why are you doing it?
Yeah.
Are you doing it to like actually digest the material and to live it out? Or just to say, it's another book on the list. I read 50 books this year. What have you done? I think you're just trying to dunk on your buddy.
Yeah, dude, it's so good. Well, dude, great conversation. It's been awesome having you back on the show. This will happen more often for sure.
Let's get it.
Awesome. Guys, thanks for listening to another episode of the Take a Step podcast. If you enjoyed it, please leave a rating and a review on whichever platform you're listening. And if there's someone you feel like, could find value in this conversation and everything involving, what it looks like to actually live out the things that you talk about on a consistent basis, share it with a friend so we can continue growing this mission field of really helping people take action in their lives, reject complacency, choose the uncomfortable path, and find more purpose and become that purpose-driven leader that we all want to be. So thanks for listening to another episode. Wherever you are in your growth journey, every mile begins with a step. We'll talk to you in the next episode.
Let's move.